What is good, chat? We're back another morning, another day, another dollar, right? And today, man, more or less, we'll be on the same shit as what we discussed for yesterday's, but technically video, right? So, number one, about to change the route up. We're about to walk across the street because I am not dealing with this big ass untamed fucking dog that this homeless dude has. I'm cool. I've been almost bit by that nigga. We are not taking the chances, sir. 0 chances. But that being said, though, man, from where was I at from yesterday? Ah, yes. So a lot of the shit that causes the male loneliness epidemic comes from 2 things. Number one would be the actions of men. And number 2 would be the emotional state that women get from social media. Now, social media is a threat for a lot of things, especially on human emotion. I'm not here to blame everything on social media, but you'll see where I'm going with it. So, picture it like this, right? Anything that bad happens in the world, social media puts on blast. For instance, one cop in some random small town in the country killed an innocent black man. Let's say that happens maybe 20 times throughout the year. Those 20 times are going to be put in more emphasis than anything good that a police officer would do on the day-to-day basis. Doesn't matter what city, state, county, municipal they're in. That is just the reality of it. The news gets more views when they put something negative on it and puts it on blast. Okay? So, with all that in mind, this is what I mean by skewed. So, there's a lot of violence that goes on in our country, at least the United States, as well as the world. The issue with that, with social media and news broadcasting being so big, is the fact that that violence gets to be put on 4K display with the highest audience to see it. So when, let's just make an example, when some random dude beats up a woman or some dude kills their wife and their child, that gets put on blast. And as men, we may not see that as often on social media. That's just because that's not on our feed. However, with, for example, search engines, how they work, a woman is more likely going to get that just because of her gender in her previous search history, and the more the fact that she's a woman. Versus a man, since our search history is different, we're most likely not going to see that info. So, even though it happened one time throughout the year, that one time gets thrown into a woman's mind. And what I've learned from reading is that women experience trauma in a completely different way than men. Women want to more or less break down and find a place of safety. Men want to step up and stop the harm. Completely two different reactions towards that, towards a traumatic event. So understanding that, when a lot of women hear or see that traumatic event, it really does affect them to their core. It shakes them. It shakes their body to hear some shit like that exists in the world. And that's a difficulty and a challenge they have to face. So when you keep that in mind, a lot of women are more or less afraid of men in that example. And I'm not saying this is the case with all women, but majority of the fact to kind of give you a push off or, a side eye, there's a reason for it. Maybe not because of the fact they don't like you, but the simple fact is because you came off rather too aggressive or too thirsty or whatever the case is. The point I'm trying to make is their trust level is down and their threat indicator is up, which is going to make them feel standoffish and do things that they wouldn't do to somebody who doesn't give them that energy, who doesn't provide that. And I'm not saying like, oh, you coming up as some threatening, mean nigga. That's not at all what I mean. But the point I'm trying to make is sometimes it's a quick glance or just an intuitive thought that a woman will feel, what triggers that and causes that. So you can't be upset at somebody for listening to their gut. And if you do get upset, well, then you just prove they instinct right. You see my point? That's one. Number two is, with social media being inhibited, a lot of women see that there's a lot better choices on the planet in front of their eyes. So they automatically feel the illusional thought of, oh, I can go pick that. Now, this is just basic nature, man. Nature would say the survival of the fittest. For our life and social need and desire to be known as human beings and getting attention, because attention is the most powerful currency on the planet, you'll realize that a lot of women love that attention. That is why they go after these famous dudes. Or they go after these dudes with some luxurious lifestyle. And that's because they're the top of the food chain. You can't be upset at somebody trying to pick the best partner. At the end of the day, us as animals, we're looking for the best mate. That's why certain men are very particular with who the fuck they're going to have sex with, or who the fuck is going to carry their child, or who's they're choosing to be their wife. Some men don't give a fuck. For instance, like my father. That's the reason why. Bro has 3 different baby moms with 3 different children. And has only 3 children. So, take that with a grain of salt. The point I'm trying to make here is, you can't change something that's been around since the dawn of human beings, and animals, and civilization. You want to pick the best mate who has the greatest possibility to protect, but also who has the greatest possibility for survival. Protection, survival. Those are the 2 most important things when it comes to that. And my third final thing, y'all, is back again to something more that men can control towards themselves. It would just be your awareness and emotional intelligence. EQ is some of the most important things I've learned on the planet. This is what develops your soft skills, being able to communicate with people. This is what develops you being able to connect with people and really empathize or be compassionate for one another. Those alone are what allow anybody to take that connection. For instance, one of the biggest things I'll always be envious of and jealous of women is their friendships. Yes, sure, they break off and have this petty bullshit. I could care less about that. I enjoy the masculine side of that for a reason. Because it's not something that's emotionally tied for me to like this dude. It's just, we connected one day. He hasn't done me dirty. I haven't done him dirty. And we know a lot about each other. If I ever needed to call on somebody, I could do so. That's more of how the masculine side works. For women, they talk about their problems. They consult each other. They go through endless conversation. And even people who are married, even most men will tell you that a woman's going to have more friends. And if she don't have friends, she lying. She just don't talk to those people that often anymore. Whether because she's too caught up on her day-to-day life, or she, simply put, just doesn't want to communicate with those folk anymore. One of the 2 options. What I'm trying to make is, a woman's natural emotional intelligence is very high. That's because they're emotional creatures. Nothing wrong with that. That's just how it's genetically been provided. For men, we think more logically. However, for a man's ability to turn on his EQ, have a high emotional intelligence, high awareness of himself and who he is, the hell is this dude doing? That alone is what separates a lot of these men. They're not already got the money and the fame, but also the ability to emotionally connect with the woman, make her feel like she's the one on this planet, even though she's one of them. 500 hoes this nigga fucked in the last 5 years. Don't change the point. They're able to make them feel some type of way and really take their mind to different places. For instance, think of like a Michael Jackson or a Prince. Even though these dudes are very diva-ish for their time, very effeminate, it doesn't change the fact of who they are and what they want, right? So, what I'm trying to make is those effeminate men themselves, being themselves and expressing who they are as a wholehearted individual and as their purest form, also have high emotional intelligence. Even without the fame, I truly believe that Michael Jackson or Prince will still go bag many bitches. Many. For that simple fact. But that is the end of this video. Once again, this will be a multi-day segment. I go on and on about this topic. But I'm going to catch y'all tomorrow.